Hello and welcome to another video in the series of the Neptune videos I've been making. It's been a while, but this is another one, and I'm doing a series of Neptune now, as I did with Saturn, as I did with Chiron, and also as I did with Pluto and Uranus. So this is the last one of those series, and now I'm talking about Neptune and Venus. By the way, if you are interested in relationships in general and astrology, I have another video as well, which I will put down below that you might find interesting. But this one is about Neptune and Venus. So what is it all about? When you have that in a natal chart, when you have that in a transit, and when you have that in synastry with another person. So let's first talk very rapidly about Neptune. So Neptune at its best, it's about opening up a broader perspective than looking with just your eyes and sensing with the five senses. So it's totally experiencing something that is way broader than the tangible world. So that's why it's associated with spirituality as well. That you can tap into spirit, and this is very Neptunian as well, that you are inspired. That's mostly people who are strongly inspired are people who have strong Neptunes and who have that connection on a higher level, on a divine level, you could say. So that's the positive thing about Neptune. It's compassion, it's understanding, it's seeing a bit more than you see with the normal senses, as I said. Venus is about your value system. It's about what you like in life. It's about what you think is important in your life. It's about making a choice. That is what Venus does. This is good, this is bad. It's about moral, which is also Venus. Venus decides, if you've got a good Venus, your choices should be better than when you have an afflicted Venus that's having a bit of a hard time. Then choices become, you're rather tempted to make the wrong choice, you could say. So, but Venus is, of course, the significator of relationships and how you, and what you love in a relationship, what you want in a relationship. So, with Venus, that's why I made another video about Venus. If you want to know what is going on in your love life and what is going on in relationships, what is going on with your values and what you like or you don't like, you look at Venus in your chart, and it depends on the other planet that it aspects, what's the content. So let's say with Pluto it's very intense, what you want. With Uranus it has to be different, it has to be unusual, what you want. With Saturn it has to be within the norm, it has to be it has to be responsible, what you like. And with Neptune, it's one of the most romantic aspects. So when you see Venus together with Neptune in a natal chart, let's start with that, you can be sure that this person has a romantic heart, even though you see, for instance, a moon conjunct the sun, or conjunct the moon, Saturn. The moon conjunct Saturn, or sun conjunct Saturn. You can have a very realistic person there, but the Venus and the Neptune in a connection with each other, so that is a square or an opposition, a trine, a sextile, or a conjunction. So I won't be explaining the aspects too much. There are easy aspects, which is the trine and the sextile, and there are the difficult aspects, which in this case is the opposition between Neptune and Venus. They're opposite each other, they are squaring each other 19 degrees. That's also a difficult position. And the conjunction, it's sometimes easier than in other situations, so it's a bit double there. But whatever it is, it's always the whatever the context is, it's always a person that has this possibility to tap into something that is bigger than them, and to tap into beauty, to inspiration. That's why these people, a lot of these people who have that in a natal chart, are artistic, are they have a good view for beauty. They have a good eye for beauty. I mean, they are very inspired. They are very idealistic when it comes to love life. This is all the rather positive side. What about oppositions and squares are quite often in a more negative energy, and that negative energy is of course the negative side of Neptune in the love life, which is deception, which is not seeing what you only see what you want to see, and not seeing reality. It is putting someone on a pedestal, for instance, and it is, you know, the romantic heart that can be a bit blind there. It is, for instance, in a negative way, it can be a person that falls for the underdog always. And not that that's a negative thing, but with the underdog, I mean that everyone else is saying, are you dating this person? Are you kidding? And you are saying, but yes, I see the good qualities. So these people always see the good qualities in other people. And actually, this is a gift if you can do that. That makes people very compassionate as well. But it's not a gift when it ruins your life and when it ruins your sense of self. So a lot of people with Venus and Neptune connection have not enough sense of self, and therefore they lose themselves very easily in other people. And there are no boundaries. Remember that Neptune is all about opening those boundaries. But when they are too open, it's very easy to come in, and it's also easy if you don't have a lot of rationality in your chart, you can let people in that are not the best people for you. So that's the negative side of a Venus and a Neptune. So yes, it can be very romantic, it can be very, a lot of longing involved as well, because Venus and Neptune is this idealizing. I want things to be ideal. I want actually relationships to be divine, you could say. And we're living on planet Earth here, so the perfect relationship is not possible. It's perfect in its imperfection, but that's just where Neptune, Venus people are not being content. The grass is always greener. That's typical with people who've got difficult angles with Neptune to their Venus. They think, oh, it's better over there, it's better over there. And then actually when they go into that other relationship, their fantasy was better than the experience of the relationship. So, but that's, I'm telling you now, the hard angles and the difficulties that one can have with relationships. So if someone in a natal chart has this, it means that they have to go through that energy of longing at times and of giving up sometimes, sacrificing love, because Neptune has to do with, I don't like the word sacrifice actually, but it has to deal with giving something up, and Venus is what you like, what you desire. So it's a lot of these people, when they have that in their chart, like an opposition or a square, they fall in love with the wrong guy or with the wrong girl, with people who are not, that they will never be in a relationship with, or they are in a relationship, or someone else is in it, or they are, you know, they're too far away, or it's a lot of Romeo Juliet energy there. So, but what it is good for is that it gives a tremendous amount of understanding, compassion, creative energy as well. I remember that once on television there was an artist, a singer, who said, and who was teaching, who was a coach for other singers, and I remember that this young boy had to, he was like 19 or so, and he had to sing a very serious song about a longing for a girl, and that was unattainable for him. And he said to that man, "Sing, have you experienced that yourself? he said, yes, actually now I'm having that experience. Good, 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 he said. And I hope that you can't reach out to her, because then the song will be even better. I mean, it's a bit sadistic to say, I think, but it gives the flavor of the Neptune and the Venus, the longing, and the, you could say it acts almost as a muse. The longing for that ideal relationship can give a person a lot of creative energy. Venus joys in the fifth house of self-expression. So I think that's why that is, that Venus is also associated with opening up the heart and showing who you are. And with Neptune, it's a very creative Venus. These people always, not that they are the most beautiful people, but they always have a bit of Hollywood ingredient, a bit mesmerizing, a bit very charming, and they are very open as well, and that's why other people, they are very easily seduced, and they can seduce easily as well, but not like with Pluto, for instance. This is now all or nothing, and this is about intensity. No, it's in a more mystical way, in a more mysterious way, you could say, with Neptune there. A lot of actors as well have so strong aspects with Neptune and Venus, especially women. Men, they have that a lot with Neptune and Mars. But I've seen it a lot when you are not only with actresses, but when you work with public, or in the public eye, or in the PR, because that's about projection, that's about recognizing. And in other words, I'll give you an example. I have Neptune in a trine with my Venus at the moment, and it's in the communication houses. And this is so nice for me because I feel very inspired, and the good side of this Neptune is that it's always there, the inspiration. And if I do videos like this, like the monthly horoscopes, for instance, I just put on the Mercury is retrograde, Venus is in this house, or making this aspect, and Jupiter is making that aspect, and then I make a story out of it. I don't rehearse that. This is the Neptune that can help people when they have trines or sextiles, because this is now the positive energy that I'm describing. This is definitely that you can tap into something, and then you make this video, for instance, in my situation, and then people say, I recognize myself in that. This is exactly what's happening with me. And this is very weird because these are general horoscopes. Not weird, but this is the thing with inspiration, and this is the thing with other people are attracted to that because it resonates with them. So it depends, of course, where your Venus is situated in your chart, and it won't always be about love relationships or value. It can be like with me, the Neptune in the third house, which is all about communication and being inspired to do your communication. But definitely when Neptune and is in those difficult angles with oppositions, with squares, watch out for relationships. And if you are not in a relationship, let's say the scenario yes and no, the scenario of you're being single and the scenario when you're having a relationship. So let's say you're not in a relationship and you're not having if you're having the trine aspect, the Venus and the trine to Neptune or the sextile, it's the positive energy that I just described of compassion, and you really can meet your soulmate if you are single and having this transit. But let's say you have the difficult angle of the opposition and the square. Be aware that you're not seeing what is in front of you. You know, when you are in love with a person or you have an eye on someone, just, if you can, of course, just wait it out after the transit has gone, because when the transit has gone and you still have those feelings for that person, then off you go. But if you're still in the middle of the transit, you will be in the fog, and you will be of, what is this? Is this Is this real? Is this not real? So people are always disappointed after that transit. If they are starting a new relationship, there's often deception in in play. The same with if you're having a relationship. If you're having a relationship and you're having a positive Neptune transit to your Venus, like a trine or a sextile, it's wonderful. It makes you. It certainly has made my value, and not only value but relationships in general, way more compassionate, way more understanding, way more open. So this is a really good transit. But when it's in an opposition or a square, and you are a bit feeling confused in your relationship of, is this the one, or you're doubting your relationship, don't do anything. That's the best advice. Or if you're in a relationship and you fall in love with someone else and you think, should I go or shouldn't I? This is exactly what you should do during the transit. Questioning yourself, questioning your values, what you value more. And then at the end of the ride, when the Neptune transit is over, you will see clarity. So that's always the advice that I give to people with Neptune transit opposing or squaring up to their Venus. Not that they always like it, because often you of course, it's about staying with the feet on the ground, and these people are not experiencing that. So it's very hard to reason when people are having Neptune transits. It's very hard for themselves to be very conscious about themselves when they're having this Neptune transit. So be aware of that as well. If you are in a relationship and you're not quite sure about your feelings, just don't worry. It will come. The information will come, and don't do things that you will later on regret. Because as I explained in the other videos about relationships and Venus and all the outer planets like Neptune and Pluto and so on, it's quite often with the Neptune transit that people often may regret the things that they did. So not that they didn't do, but what they did. So if you can, just be aware that it's even if you feel very attracted to a person, and even if you feel very much in love, be aware if you see a Neptune opposing your Venus or squaring up to it, or even to a progressed Venus, that you should be careful and you should take things easy. So that's for the transits actually. So I mentioned a bit about the natal chart, that were the transits. What about synastry? Well, the same flavor. So if you have in synastry, I mean, one Venus of one person and is overlapping the Neptune of another person. When that happens, that's the energy that I just described. It can be really, when it happens with a trine and with a sextile, it can be a really soulmate connection. It can actually be in a platonic relationship as well, because Neptune is not so much interested in the physical experience of relationships. It's more on the non-tangible way of experiencing things. So, but it means that these people idealize each other in a good way. When it's in an opposite, when you have this in a synastry, one Venus of a person and Neptune opposing that Venus or squaring up to it, then it's a caution. Then you need to be just cautious of not idealizing each other too much, or that there would be deception. And it's very difficult to say who's going to deceive the other, because it's never one person. It's always two people. That one person is maybe deliberately not looking at the truth there, just to be protecting their own feelings, or if they would really look through the veil, it would be a very painful situation. So that's also Neptune. It's trying to protect in a way. It's a bit tricky there. But about oppositions or squares in a synastry between Venus and Neptune can be that the one person is giving too much. So, and mostly it's the Venus person that reaches out too much or gives too much of themselves, and in return they only get a very little piece or nothing at all. So it's about putting the boundaries there. That's the warning there, that you, of course it's just one aspect that I'm picking out of the synastry, but it warns, it gives a little warning there that you should protect yourself in a way, or in other words, you should put your boundaries there, that you are not sacrificing yourself, because of course we may never do that. There always has to be a giving and a taking in relationship to have the balance. That's also Venus, the balance, and Neptune puts that the boundaries away there. So, but it's not going to make, I don't think the Neptune Venus in a difficult angle in synastry is going to make or break a relationship, or is too much of a problem. If there is some strong Saturn aspects as well, even in a square or in opposition, it can add a little bit to the mystique energy of the relationship. So, thanks again for watching one of these videos, and see you next time. Bye bye.